Metamorphosis. The Oxford Dictionary defines the word metamorphosis as a process in which someone or something changes completely into something different. And the example they give is the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly. Over the last few years, a new breed of organizations have emerged. These organizations are able to scale and generate value at a level never seen before and are challenging the core of established norms of growth. It is in such a backdrop that the Federation of IT Industry Sri Lanka, or FITIS, proudly presents the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shehan Kumar, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Federation of IT Industry. Apologies for the short delay. We were waiting for our main speakers to log in for today's meeting. We have an exciting list of speakers to talk to you about this exciting event. I know it's a very gloomy day over here in Colombo, but I'm sure the content of today's, right? So without further ado, I would like to move on to our first speaker, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, who is the chairman of the Federation of IT Industry Sri Lanka. Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe recently took over as the chairman of the Federation of IT Industry. He is the managing director of Lanka Bell Private Limited, Bell Vantage Private Limited, and Bell Solutions Private Limited, while he is also a director of Haley's Fiber PLC, serving in its board from 2017 and represents the boards of Hatton National Bank, HNB Assurance PLC, and HMB General Insurance as an alternate director. Dr. Samarasinghe holds a doctorate in telecommunications bestowed upon him by the Australian National University of Canberra, and a Master of Engineering and Bachelor of Science degree in Electronics and Telecommunications with a first class from the University of Moratuwa. So I'd like to cordially invite Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, the chairman of FITIS, to welcome you all this afternoon.
Thank you, Shahan. Honorable Secretary to the Minister of Technology, Mr. Jayanthi De Silva, Chairman ICTA and Director General of Telecommunication, Mr. Oshada Senanayake, representatives from the media, Project Chairman of the Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave, and our President of FITIS Software Chapter, Mr. Fairuz Habib, Co-Chairman of Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave, Mr. Dushi, our Platinum partners, WSO2 and Oracle, our Silver partners, LifeRay, Silverleap, and Dialog TV, our national partners, ICT and EDB, ecosystem partners, BCS, CSSL, ISACA, and SASCO, online solution partner, /Tech Labs, digital marketing partner, Z Messengers. The past chairmen of FITIS, board directors of FITIS, executive committee and members of the FITIS chapters, including software chapter, members of FITIS, our CEO, Mr. Shehan Kumar, the staff of FITIS, secretariat, industry leaders and friends. On behalf of FITIS, I'd like to welcome you all for the media conference organized by the FITIS Digital Excellence Award and Conclave 2021. Before I go into today's agenda point, would like to explain a little bit about the FITIS. The Federation of IT Industry Sri Lanka was set up in 1996 with the purpose of giving a much needed focal point for ICT industry in Sri Lanka. FITIS is the apex body of ICT industry in the country, covering all major industry segments throughout our different chapters, including our first chapter, FITIS Hardware chapter, Software chapter, Education and Training chapter, Professional chapter, Communication chapter, include all the telecommunications members, the Office Automation chapter, Digital Services chapter. All the digital services are part and parcel of the Digital Services chapter. Our latest addition is the Independent Professional chapter, which include all the freelancers. I'm sure all of you are aware, 650,000 freelancers in Bangladesh, giving a lot of foreign currency to the Bangladesh. The same way we want to expand our independent professional chapter with the support of ICTA to drive and bring a lot of foreign exchange to Sri Lanka. The FITIS has two key mandates. The first one to lead and drive digital transformation in Sri Lanka, moving towards a digital economy and encouraging private sector, public sector, and citizens towards digitization. To help develop and foster creation of intellectual property within Sri Lanka and assist companies in expansion to build global brands for these intellectual properties. It can be innovation ideas, it can be a brand name, which we really want to drive our products, not only services, because there's a limit the services can go. There's a limit services can bring foreign currency to the country. But if you are going to drive our objectives or the targets, I'm sure everybody will agree, we will need our brand names to take into the world. Now, I'm proud to say that today's press conference of the Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave directly supporting the national initiative of driving the digital transformation in Sri Lanka. Our first main point to drive the digital economy in this country. As you all are aware, most of the award ceremonies in the country are focused about the creator or the innovators. They recognize innovators. The change in the tradition, our immediate past chairman, few years ago, actually Mr. Abbas Kamurdin came up with the idea, why not to recognize adapters? The adapters are the taking risk and spending money for these things. That is how this Digital Excellence Award started. Thanks for the great idea, Abbas. And the real basic behind this award ceremony, we want to recognize whoever we want to adapt digital technologies. They are also part and parcel of the taking a bold decision towards this digital journey. In a challenging world, moving towards the next normal. Maybe today we are in the different normal. Yes, certainly we will move into the next normal digital transformation. The digital transformation itself is changing, bringing in a new chapter where organizations and their CEOs are reprioritizing their agendas. The challenge is clear. Winning in the next normal means focusing on addressing new customer experience, new customer requirements, developing new capabilities, and building digital infrastructures and support extensive experiences in the new digital economy. We have been involved in the digital from 1970s, from the time we had our digital wristwatches. I'm sure everybody can recall those days. Today we are living in the era of doing digital, living digital. Digital transformation is migration of organization from Industry 3.0 to Industry 4.0 and creating exponential organizations. That is where the basic of our award ceremony. The technology leaders like Amazon build an application that can leverage the application across the organizations. Is running on cloud, is very easy for somebody to adapt. The good example, this reduces transaction cost and allows new services to reuse infrastructure others have built. Like Amazon, the good example, modern government. What they build, they now provides a large number of services that are partly or fully online, like passport renewal, vehicle registration, tax filing, and health record retrieval, many more. But even today, the government as well as large organizations manage like legacy companies. Systems are built at inflated cost, managed within department silos, and unable to connect effectively. The companies like Amazon use a platform approach to scale up services, using central tools to meet the complex needs and diverse users. That is where the good example, the way it is moving from industry 3.0 to 4.0. The cloud is one key. The software as a service is another. IoT is another. AI is another. It's not a one technology or the one path. It's a multiple products and services which is supporting you to move from industry 3.0 to 4.0. The parallel approach could help the public sector achieve similar goal. The Digital Excellence Award honors the achievements of organizations that have successfully planned, executed, and currently migrated from industry 3.0 to 4.0 through digital transformation. The award categories and selection criteria align to reflect today's most critical business transformation areas, and the framework of FITIS Digital Excellence Awards was developed modeling the industry standard Digital Transformation Assessment Framework. Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave will be a brilliant platform in encouraging and promoting our ICT businesses and professionals to be at the forefront in achieving their important mission. At the Conclave, FITIS will have more than 800 local and foreign delegates, including business leaders, who will deliberate extensively on migrating from industry 3.0 to 4.0, achieving holistic digital transformation and the creation of exponential organizations. Therefore, I am certain that the conclave will focus extensively on how the industry can fast-track the path to success. I also extend my warm congratulations to the ICT companies, which will be recognized in their innovative digital transformations and for taking the lead to reshape the industry. Congratulations in advance to the winners of the Digital Excellence Award, and I wish the conclave insightful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, the chairman of the Federation of IT Industry in Sri Lanka. Okay, so we move on to a very important aspect of our session today, that is an in-depth overview of what this Digital Excellence Awards is all about. And to do that, I would like to cordially invite Mr. Fairuz Habib, the president of the FITIS software chapter. Mr. Fairuz Habib is also the chairman and the main driver of the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards. Mr. Habib is an experienced IT executive with a very good comprehension of the ICT industry, with over 20 years of experience covering strategic and executive leadership positions in progressive and dynamic organizations, providing a wealth of innovation together with new vistas of growth and development. He is currently the senior business consultant at Cybersoft, and he has been a very, very key driver in the FITIS software chapter, which he is heading right now. He is currently a doctoral candidate of the University of California as well. So I would like to cordially invite Mr. Fairuz Habib to present his overview of the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave. Over to you, Fairuz.
Thank you, Shahan. Thank you for the nice introduction. Yeah, today, we are talking about the Digital Excellence Award, doing digital and being digital. This one. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are, Fairuz.
Thank you. So today, the inexpensive technologies are all around us, and they are disrupting the industries. And this is signaling us the dawn of fourth industrial revolution. The new digital era is dawning in front of us. And in this digital age, it gives an immense possibility for countries like us to achieve the economic growth and also the social economic prosperities. In Sri Lanka, the organizations are adopting the technology very fast. And we are using this technology in our every day-to-day operations. So the FITIS Digital Excellence Award is intended to honor the achievements of organizations that they have successfully planned, executed, and currently migrating from industry 3.0 to 4.0 through the digital transformation. So by keeping that in mind, that we have came up with the theme of transforming enterprises from Industry 3.0 to 4.0. So the FITIS has taken the responsibility, not just as running an event, but the transformational journey for Sri Lanka to leapfrog into the fourth industrial revolution, to drive the concept of digitally transformed Sri Lanka. In order to achieve this, we have developed a framework called Digital Excellence Framework. Let me share my screen. Sorry. Right. The framework, which consists of these 4 major dimensions as well as the sub-dimensions. So here, these awards and conclave with the intention of guiding and assisting the organizations or the enterprises to migrate from Industry 3.0 to 4.0, which through this digital transformation. It is not only the conclave, the awards, and also the conclave also based on these frameworks, right? So all the topics that we are going to cover out here, which is going to be around this. The business leaders, we have identified the leaders who can bring in the case studies and their challenges and the success stories and a lot more, how they have achieved this across the globe. And this is a forum for you to connect with the C-level executives and decision makers, also joining in the peer-to-peer meetings and so on. This award will give you an opportunity for the private and public sectors to showcase their digital transformation achievements on the specific areas or overall this framework or the digital maturity in their organization. And this is also an opportunity for organization to assess their maturity, and through that they can look at how they can transform their organization, how they can realign their processes and their investments in the new technologies and bring in new business models, and what sort of changes they can bring into the organization to drive towards that exponential growth. So this framework, which constitutes of knowledge from various industry leaders, and we have gone through different research articles and frameworks. Particularly, this framework is derived from the Cognizant one to come up with the path for the digital transformation journey for any sort of industry organization in Sri Lanka. Specifically, we are targeting this Sri Lanka. Here, we have developed this framework and the assessment criteria also based on this framework. These assessment criteria are grouped into 4 major categories, as you can see. Those 4 major categories are split into 2 subcategories. And there are another 3 major categories, which I'll come into that. So those categories were been used to assess the maturity. So the digital conclave also will be addressing the same set of theme and the categories, so that we can drive that initiative not only to assess the maturity of the organization, but also to guide and assist them towards how they could drive the transformation after they do the assessment. So these award categories, if I give you just brief about this digitized customer experience. Here in this digitized customer experience, we'll be assessing based on how the customer expect to engage in the organization, like 24/7 operation through all available channels, and by offering an omnichannel experience to the customers. These are the key part of this digital strategy of an organization. And the next is the product and services. Digitized product and services category will focus on how the customer buying experience, not just as a product, but a service, or how the organization is focusing on selling a customer a journey or the experience, right? So by enabling the product and services, how they are enabling them to interact digitally with how the organization can have the valuable insight about the customers and so on. So those are the areas will be assessed under the digitized product and services. The third category is the digitized operation. In this category, we are looking at how the organization is reimagining the operational process in convergence with the SMAC stack, where that ensures the operational processes which is focusing on the customer centricity, and how the organizations are adopting into the data-driven approach to reveal the insight and the intelligence, and how they can extract the value out of the data which is being captured in the organization. And then finally, how the automating these operational processes make the organizations cost effective, and how the agility is being adopted in the organization, the agility as a character of an organization, due to this increasing uncertainties in the changing landscape, what we are going through right now. In this current business environment, how the organizations are adopting into these obligations and how they new organizational model that involves the human resource to move towards cognitive processes, and that are something like using the human resources towards designing, auditing, and innovating rather than being discussed over there. Next part is the digitally mature, at how the digital technology become a backbone of the organization to offer the innovative products, services, and operational capabilities, and bringing in new business models and various novel of organizational techniques. Then how this is enabled them to deliver the large, or at least 10 times larger impact than their peers, to become a fully transformed organizations. So here in this category, it is not just the transformative effort, but also the impact to the industry is going to be assessed. The next one is the born digital organization. This is about completely a new type of company that has emerged as the basis as a strategy on the latest mobile and web technologies, which is especially larger phenomenon of the digitalizations which we could see as a core of these activities and value chains, and all these upstreams and downstreams are digitized and which are coordinated by the digital technologies from the inception of the organization or soon after. It's not the organization who had transformed from brick and mortar to the digital, but it's from inception or soon after the organization the organization become digital. Finally, the corporate IT awards. This is the area where we are going to recognize and rewarding the companies from the private and public sector that they have delivered the tremendous operational excellences, and they also delivered some considerable measurable business outcomes, advantage, and tangible experience or outstanding impact through the some of the leading implementation that they have done it internally by using their own team or with the collaboration of external teams. So these corporate IT awards will detect how the organization have contributed towards the digital transformation through that particular project. And there's the organization who celebrate the ongoing, the business operation by running a little extra mile to sustain their business operation in the new digital technology and by bringing in new operational capabilities and how they can run and address the most critical business needs of the organizations. So those are the categories which will be considered for this award ceremony. Now let's look at the eligibility criteria. Now, who can participate is the organization who is implementing the digital transformation initiatives. Over there, we will be using the digital transformation maturity assessment framework. And the born digital organization or digitally mature organization will be using the digital maturity and the exponential quotient assessment. And the corporate assessment or the corporate IT awards will be using the IT technology teams who has embedded the organization, that part of the organization and all. So especially the digital transformation enablers like the software companies or the IT companies, they can only apply for a particular categories, which is digitally mature organization, born digital organization, as well as the corporate IT awards. They cannot apply for the rest of the categories because they're supposed to deliver those services to those organizations where the end customers are going to be recognized. The important timelines for this award, currently we are calling the applications, which is due on 4th October. Then the first assessment, first activity after the submission, there will be a detailed survey will be done with the applicant. That survey will be circulated after the closing date. The applicant can submit the response to the survey until 18th October. That will be used as a self-assessment validation. The judges will take those self-assessment survey questionnaire as well as the application data or information submitted through the application. Those two will be used for the stage 1 of the evaluation. They also will be given opportunity to submit the 7 minutes video recording with the presentation. So those three will be used for the judging stage 1. Only shortlisted candidate will be called for a face-to-face interview. We have a strict assessment criteria. We'll be using bell curve. There will be a minimum standard. As of now, we have decided over 70 marks. The top one will be categorized as a gold. There are 4 levels. We are talking about gold, silver, bronze, and merit award. So we have specified the category. So that's how we are going to do the assessment. So there may be winners, there may not be winners in a particular levels as well. The award ceremony will be happening on 30th November. Let me take you through a few highlights about the previous events as well. In this, in the past, as well as in the current context, that we were expecting at least 40 to 45% of C-level participants. In the past, we had 37% of C-level, which includes the VP, about directors, and so on, as well as senior management, as well as the junior management, including developers, the project managers, program managers, architects, and the business team as well. So accordingly, now if you look at the previous events that we have done in the past, there's one API Asia 2019, this is a full physical event, and the Internet Day, it's a fully virtual event which happened this year. So you can see that this is going to be a hybrid event. So therefore, this hybrid event is going to be a combination of these two. Definitely, we will have if it depends on the country situation, by following the health guideline, we will accommodate as much as possible. So we warmly welcome all of you to be part of the Digital Excellence Award and Conclave. And I wish you all the best for the, my advanced wishes for the winners of this Conclave, of this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fairuz. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Fairuz Habib, the president of the FITIS software chapter. He's also the main driver behind the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave. So now we have our main speaker for today, and I would like to cordially invite the Secretary of the Ministry of Technology, Mr. Jayanta De Silva. Let me give you a small introduction to Mr. De Silva. Mr. De Silva has over 30 years of experience in the IT industry with extensive exposure in national policy making and strategies for knowledge services. He has hands-on experience in large projects globally. He is the former chairman of the ICT agency in Sri Lanka and presently the secretary to the Ministry of Technology and the president of the Center for Science and Technology of the non-aligned and other developing countries. He's a founder member and former chairman of SLASCOM. He's a former chairman of the Software Exporters Association. He has served as a board director of the ICTA, chairman of the British Computer Society, and a member of the board of University of Colombo School of Computing. He holds a postgraduate diploma in international statistical programs from Washington, DC. He's a fellow of the BCS, and he has so many other industry and professional recognition. So without further ado, the main speaker for this afternoon, the Secretary of the Ministry of Technology, Mr. Jayanta De Silva. Over to you, Mr. De Silva.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you very much. It's always good to be with events like this. And we as the government has a huge responsibility in supporting and being part of this event. Prasad, Chairman of FITIS, thank you very much for inviting us. Distinguished guests, my fellow colleagues and friends. A lot of things have been told about the event. A lot of things have been told about what we should do. I think we all know what to do. That's a good thing. We are all coming from a good background. You would sometimes, I'm sure there'll be better people in the audience who would be better equipped knowing the subject. But actually, the right way that you have just said is actually the adoption. Now, where have we failed in Sri Lanka is actually in the adoption. Please understand it's not only the government. It is also private sector. It is not only Sri Lanka, it is also internationally. Adoption is the tough game. So if I just mention some of the things that we as a government is doing at the moment, right, I will explain and how this adoption we are planning to make it a reality. That's a very, very important thing. And you rightly said that your theme is actually to ensure and to recognize the people who have adopted. I may take few examples before I go to my main focus. As you know, the ID card project that we normally call is 20 years old. We know what to do. All know what to do. We have the technology. People know the technology. But unfortunately, right, it has taken 20 years and we have not come out with a good digital ID. Today, we are proud to say that this digital ID would be a reality in second quarter of next year. This nothing very much, actually, this common sense, nothing very much technology here, right? But of course, it takes a lot of money, a lot of effort to come with 16 million ID cards within a year. It's a tough assignment, but we have taken every possible steps today to make this a reality. Our new ID would be a very unique one. It will carry 10 fingerprints, the iris, and the face recognition, ICAVA standard face recognition. So this is one would say it's not magic, right? But the effect that it will bring to the country, the integration that will happen among all the people, including the private sector and the public sector, is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be so easy to use. You just put a fingerprint anywhere you want, your identity becomes exposed, right? So this is what we are doing. So making it adaptable as soon as possible is the tough thing. People may say, we have done it, we thought about it, we discussed about it, we have spent money on that, right? But it has unfortunately not happened. I'll take another example, the digital ID. The digital ID, which was available to us from 2011, or even before, to be very honest. But still, how many people are using the digital signature? I'm sorry, the digital signature. Now we are putting a plan that to make it inclusive, that all start using the digital signature. Imagine today, if it was available, it is available. If it was used with a majority of the people, how easy it would be done. The normal public sector, they ask for your signature plus your seal. The moment you ask your seal, right, then the virtuality or it all goes off, right? You have to put your seal, get the paper, print the paper. So with the digital signature, everything, I'm not going into explain these matters to you because you all know it. Today, banks, fortunately, there are about trillions of rupees being transacted using the digital signature. So we are trying our very best to make it, as you said, adaptable. The third thing is actually that we have started some very, very important programs to bring a lot of transparency to our country. Being a very small country, a developing country, it's extremely tough for us to be in part sometimes with the very modern world, because it is costing a lot of money. The UID project is a huge cost to us, but we are going ahead. We have just started the project on automating the codes. Every code would be automated. We have started it. We are 100% sure that by next year, we'll be starting this. Every court proceeding would be video and voice recorded. Every court proceeding can be done virtually. Now see the amount of inclusiveness that it will bring, the easiness for people. This is something that we are very, very proud of. Most of the countries in the region have not done it, and we are going ahead doing it. It's a tough game for us, but we are determined to go ahead, and we are all there. We have everything to go. We are just at the moment of requesting the proposals from the private sector, because we want the private sector like you to participate. Now, in order to do this inclusiveness or the adaptability, just because you have a solution, you can't do it. There are many other factors that have actually obstructed for these things to go in the operational layer. We are very weak at the operational layer. So where we have actually failed in Sri Lanka or in many other countries, it is because our operational layer has been weak. That's the only reason. We have the brains, we have the people. Sometimes people think we don't have funds, but we have the funds. But the operational layer has been very weak. I'll give a classic example. This government wanted to start technoparks, 5 technoparks in this country. We are pleased to say that we are putting we are starting the Galle Technopark in 10 days' time. We have got the money, got the land, we are given the contracts, and we are starting. And I assure you, I have personally visited more than 30 technoparks in the world. And I know that our technopark is going to be very unique, very modern, with all 4G, 5G, fiber and full power, contingency, And also it's going to be a tough work, tough play environment. We are going to have a superb environment for people to work and enjoy. 24 hours you can. A person who wants to do their, even foreigners or even locals who wants to enjoy their day can work, come in the night. We have equipped it with all the modern facilities, swimming pools, 3D film halls, walking paths, tracks, top class facilities. So people will enjoy. We have been very surprised at the response that we have got from some of the big boys in this world, in the world. So we are very sure, we are very confident. We are starting the first one in Galle, the second one in Kurunegala, third one in Digana, and the fourth one in Nuwara, and the fifth at Habarana. We have all taken the lands. It was a tough thing, you know, as you all know, taking hundreds of acres from government. We are within this short period acquired all the land, and all this land are now owned by the Ministry of Technology. We have got all the money. Just to give you confidence, in fact, everything is in my bank account, so don't worry. So we have got the money. We are starting. And we got the contractors, and I'll assure you that we would be finishing the first one before end of next year. It's all good news. We are encouraging the foreigners. We are encouraging the holiday workers to come here, and we are giving them a lot of facilities. We would be having some of the top international brands in these technoparks. While parallelly we are doing all this, it's obvious that we have to build capacity, and the industry should help us. I like to use the word talent more than the capacity, but I'm not going into detail. But we, with the ICTA and the industry, are planning to build our capacity. I feel that we can do it, and I know we will do it. The third one is actually the legal framework. As you all know, we have gone a long way with our legal framework. Even the UDI project, we had to go up to 1936 back to check all the legal laws in this country, and we have managed to address all the laws in order to bring this UID or the Unique ID project into being. We also have the Cyber Security Act in place today. We are almost there. We have the Data Protection Act bill going on. So these things have been, a lot of people may say, you know, these were there, but it has never been adopted. So we have gone into the cabinet, we have taken the approval, and we are on the verge of bringing them into the use of the normal people, because actually the Cyber Security Act as well as the Data Protection Bill is extremely important if you are going with international companies. So I can go on to say, but just to give you the confidence, we are, as ICTA, is handling 12 such large projects parallelly. We inherited ICTA when, as you all know, you would hear some of the things. We are not ready to talk about the past, right? But we are on the present. We want to do well with the help of the industry. So I call upon the industry. I call upon all of you to please help us, because it's for you, it's for our children. So let's work together, and I wish your event a great success, because the events like this does encourage people, does drive the people, and does give a direction to the people as the industry leaders that this is what you should do and this is what you can do. So let's do it, right? Rather than on paper, we are ready to do it. And we as a ministry and as the government, we are determined that we are going to do. And next year is going to be a huge technology year. And we are quite proud and we are quite confident about this. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Mr. De Silva. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Jayant De Silva, Secretary to the Ministry of Technology. So certainly exciting times ahead for Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka's digital transformation drive. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Jayant De Silva. Right. So before we move on to our next item on the agenda, I would like to remind you that we have a small question and answer session immediately after the next speech. So please do submit your questions to me personally or to FITIS events, or you can even just type in your question on the Zoom chat right now. We have a couple of questions that have already come in. So please do submit your queries, and we will be happy to take on your questions. We have quite a few from the media today also, so please do submit your queries, and then we will take it up after the next address. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the address by our co-chairperson of the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards. I would like to cordially invite Mr. Dushi Tilaivasan to address you. I'll give you a small introduction on Dushi. Dushi is a multiple award-winning technology entrepreneur with over 25 years of industry experience. As a serial entrepreneur, Dushi has set up multiple businesses in the domains of digital advertising, digital payments, and digital enablement, including Z Messenger, Silverleaf Technology, and DHT Solutions. Some of the companies that are active and operational at present. He's also one of the key drivers of the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards. So Dushi, the stage is yours. Over to you.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks for the colorful introduction. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen? Is it? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So hi everyone. Welcome to the FITIS event. So my task here is to introduce the award and what's the benefit for the participants, and to also introduce how we have done this. So let me first start with how.
Dushi, you can put the slideshow. Dushi, you can put the slideshow.
Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. So my task here is basically to introduce the award, also for what's the need for the participants and how we have designed this. I mean, as the first few speakers said, what's happening today is actually extremely momentous. It's actually momentous than when we shifted from power to electricity, or even from muscle power to steam. This is really a much bigger event. And this event is going to create a lot of winners and a lot of losers. It's just, let's be realistic about it. Unless you transform, you're going to die. That's a fact that everybody has to accept. So what we have done here is that we have divided this award into two categories, two main areas. One is companies that are born digital, or companies who have already digitally have matured themselves. The other one is for the companies who are transforming from a traditional organization to a more digital organization. So the framework that you are seeing now is actually a framework that we have, after a lot of work looking at multiple models, we derived this model from Cognizant, and this model shows how a traditional company, or a company which actually belonged to the third industrial revolution, will transform into the next, or the fourth industrial revolution. So there are four main areas of transformation. Generally, a company will start transforming by sort of digitizing their customer dimension, plus, and they move on to other areas. But it doesn't like fixate companies to do only one area. Companies can do cover multiple areas at the same time. For instance, a company might start digitizing their customer dimension, also start digitizing their operations, or they may also start digitizing their product or service. So all these things can also happen parallelly. So what we want to do, what we want is to recognize the company on which areas they are starting to digitize and to what level they have digitized. So the way we are going to do the assessment is that we have developed a very detailed questionnaire, and I think this is what Mr. Feroz mentioned earlier. We have developed a detailed questionnaire which will show us the process of transformation, or how much you have transformed. So based with that information only, we will be actually looking at awarding what category you belong to. So we have an in-depth questionnaire to understand where you are, We also have a presentation of a 7-minute video about yourself. And once you qualify from that, we will then go on to the next levels. What this will show you as an organization by participating in this is where you exactly stand, right? This is what the best benefit for any company who's going to participate in this award ceremony is, that you will be able to understand, or I'm sure the people who are in this press conference, if you are a solution provider, your customers, it will show them what is the level they have achieved in terms of a digital transformation process. And it will be very beneficial for them so that they understand where they stand and how they can actually plan their future transformation process. And believe me, if you don't transform, as I said earlier, you definitely going to die, because either somebody else who's going to transform will take you over, or the new companies are going to be born newly are going to basically kill you. So this is, you can see this happening. There's a terminology called retail apocalypse, which means that how companies like Amazon and all other digital retailers are killing the retailers, the standard retailers of the old world, right? So this is the transformation model that we are going to use for traditional organizations. So there are, as Feroz explained, there are 4 areas. We're looking at the customer dimension, we're looking at the product dimension, we're looking at the internal operations dimension, and we are also looking at a final level, how the company has fully become digital and how the entire digital platform will become its DNA, right? And it talks about a lot of agility in the company and so on. So this is for the traditional organization. Now, we also do have another model for digitally matured organization or for born digital organization. So once the organization become digital, the end state is what we actually term as an exponential organization. What that actually means is that the organization is achieving exponential growth. So if you look at companies today, like the $5 trillion companies in the world, they did achieve staggering exponential growth. And even if you look at our neighbors in India, there are about almost 40 or 50 odd billion dollar startups, companies which are less than 5 years old, but they're almost valued over $1 billion. And they achieve this exponential growth by adopting certain practices. And what we will be measuring here is that whether an organization who is born digital or have digitally matured have adopted, or how they measure on the 10 scales that we have here, right? So there are 5 internally focused attributes, there are 5 externally focused attributes, and there's the transformative purpose. We have a questionnaire which will assess you and place you how exponential you are, and we will be judging you based on that. So that's a questionnaire which was introduced by the gentleman who founded this idea of an exponential organization, Mr. Salim Ismail. And we have actually borrowed this, adapted. We have basically kind of got the questionnaire from him, and we'll be assessing you on that. So this actually will show you, say, if you're a born digital organization, where you are, what level of exponentiality you have achieved. So that's what we will be looking at. So these are the type of this is the type of assessment we'll be doing. So it will be in-depth questionnaires which and again I'm saying what this award is going to give you, it will show you where exactly you are in the transformation process. So that's something quite significant for organizations who are participating. And yeah, so this is the area that I wanted to cover. We have done a lot of work. This whole award ceremony was this whole process was done with a lot of rigor. We have gone through a lot of academic literature, of industry publications, and that's how this award has been designed. We see companies who are trying to transform themselves. We know there are consultants from companies like Deloitte, very large consultancy companies who are trying to transform organizations. But this award ceremony will show you how much is your transformation and where you are. So I would encourage any of your partner companies or companies who are the real adopters to participate and check themselves where they really stand. Because if we really transform our organization into exponential organization, these companies can really help our economy to grow and become to go to the next level. So this is something that we strongly feel that companies should be doing, and to become competitive in the next industrial revolution. So thanks, Jan. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Dushi, for that address. All right, so now we have the Q&A sessions happening. So we have a couple of questions that we have received. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please do submit your questions, and then we'll be happy to take it up. So the first question is actually to the Secretary, Mr. Jayanta De Silva. Mr. De Silva, are you around? Yes, I can see you. The question is, Mr. Secretary, what are the main challenges you see in going forward in this digital transformation journey of Sri Lanka? What are the main challenges that you see in going forward in the digital transformation of Sri Lanka?
Yes, the digital transformation could be mainly divided into the public sector and the private sector. If I concentrate mainly to make the government digital and friendly, in very simple terms, I'm saying, right? There should be, because the users should be able to use these systems. Now, this has never been addressed. So if you bring in superb software, now when we brought some software actually during the COVID initial period, some superb software we developed, the tracking system, which we developed on the open source. Unfortunately, though it didn't got used to in Sri Lanka, there were 50 other countries who are using this package. 50 countries. And I was invited by the United Nations and the Norwegian government very recently to give the main address, explaining how we did it. If I explain, even before a single COVID patient we found, we did the program. And we could trace it from the time that the person actually buys the ticket. But in Sri Lanka, there are so many people who are negative. People try to, I mean, this politics coming into our field is very, very pathetic. Everything is politicalized, right? Now, we are not political people. We have come here, most of our people have come here with the intention of helping this country. There's no political alignment from us. But then imagine, whatever we do, it ultimately ends up in a political layer. So this is a major problem for us. So we want to train all government sector. We want to create 500 CDIOs in the government who would be trained, and there'll be a unit under them who will be able to handle. So they'll have to own this. I mean, if they don't own it, right, you can't run these systems. So these are simple systems. So this has been a major problem for us. It's not the money, it's not the know-how, it's not the knowledge that we have. We are superb guys. Some of the companies which I'm part of, IFS, we are being considered as the best in the world, Sri Lankans. That's why we have 1,500 people today, right? So we have proved beyond that. That's what. But our main problem, please, you all have to help us to take this to the people. We don't have any other agenda, right? Now it's people are hitting us about this ID card, because people know that if these things comes up, this country would develop and prosper. So people who doesn't want this country to prosper, develop, will ensure that technology dies. So we as technology people you all should encourage, you all should carry the flag and help us to make sure that all our projects, which we are doing in very, very good intentions, to be able to implement and run. That's the main thing I have.
Thank you so much, Honorable Secretary of the Ministry of Technology, Mr. Jayanta De Silva. Next, we have a question to Chairman of the Federation of IT Industry, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe. The question is, what is FITIS's role. What is the role of FITIS in Sri Lanka's digital transformation? How are you aligning yourselves with the national agenda? Dr. Prasad?
Yep. Thank you, Shyam, for the question. Is actually what FITIS is. FITIS is all about you. So FITIS means is a part and parcel of the countries, all the companies, all the talent. What we should do is to get together and drive this country. The digital transformation is the easiest way to do. Whatever the process we have, even this award ceremony is focusing more like adapters. The good example like a vehicle registration. I think we being citizens of this country, whatever the applications are up and running, we have to start to use that as well. I think even the vehicle registration was up and running almost 5 years, 6 years, more than that. And what is the level of usage? I think that is another thing which we have to focus on driving. To address your question, Shan, promoting the Sri Lankan economy and converting that to more like a digitized, what is all about this award ceremony, take a brain or the bold decision, step further. That is where we really want to encourage so that everybody will try to convert their companies. Whether they are good in technology or not, they will try to make use available resources, maybe inside Sri Lanka, maybe outside, adapt it and convert their company to more and more efficient companies so that everybody will get the benefit. With that benefit, I'm sure we will be able to go on a giant step and improving and increasing the transparency so that we'll be able to take much more further steps. I'm sure the good example is in India, Aadhaar card and the Andhra Pradesh, the conversion is the population is much more than even Sri Lankan population. They have done a lot. If they can do, why can't we? Is the challenges like what Secretary mentioned, is the challenge is the adoption. It's not the technology is not available. Technology is available. The challenge is the adoption and the putting into the application and convert into the real live application. That is where we want to recognize during these awards. And that is where we want to be in the industry of this country, the IT industry. We want to encourage all our members to support and drive themselves as well to convert into their company to more and more digital savvy. At the same time, we are seeing a lot of digitally born companies also coming. They're also becoming a part and parcel of the FITIS. We are so happy to see them as well. And let's take that to step and drive it. I'm sure we'll be able to see the nice country in the future very soon with the support of the able secretary and the team and all. I think they are doing a lot of good jobs. We are most of the projects we are also part and parcel of. We have our entire support to them as well. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, the chairman of the Federation of IT Industry. So as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we have quite a few participants and prospective participants also taking part today. So we have a couple of questions and I would like to pose those questions to Mr. Fairuz Habib, the president of the FITIS software chapter and also who's also the chairperson of the Digital Excellence Awards. The first question is, if we are an IT company, can't we apply for the Digital Excellence Awards? Fairuz?
Yes, you can apply for it. In fact, that was an exception that we brought in. Initially, we said no, only for the digitally mature organization and the born digital organization, as well as the corporate IT awards. Those are the three categories for the IT companies who can apply for it.
Right.
But the user point of view, they can apply for any category.
Right. Okay. There's another question that has come in. Remember, you can submit your questions either to me personally or on the Zoom chat. So please, if you have any questions, we have been answering so many questions that are, I think now we have achieved more than 100 applicants, right? So it's brought up a lot of interest in the industry, a lot of applications, so a lot of questions are being answered. So if you have any questions, please do pose because we'll take a couple of more questions and then we'll proceed to the next item on the agenda. So the next question, I think Fairuz can answer that as well. If we have already applied, paid and submitted, is there a possibility to change the criteria to which we have applied? If we have already applied, paid, and submitted, is there a possibility to change the criteria to which we have applied?
Yes, we can allow them to make the changes until 4th October. But beyond 4th October, I doubt whether we can do much. But yes, in case if there is a misunderstanding or because we are doing it first time. So therefore, we also wanted to give some, be a little bit accommodative in terms of accepting applications, and yeah, fine. We should be able to so that they can speak to the secretariat and get it done.
Right, so there doesn't seem to be any more questions. Remember, the application deadline is 4th of October. We will not be extending the application deadline any further. So please submit your entries as soon as possible. So this is the first time.
Shahan, there was a couple of more questions. Can we submit multiple entries under the same category?
Okay.
Especially only for the corporate IT awards, we are allowing maximum 3 applications. Other than corporate IT awards, anything else, one application per category. So if you look at digitized customer experience, you get 2 options, omnichannel experience and digital marketing strategy. So if you would like to add for 2 categories, you can, that you will be assessed under the one major category, which is the digitized customer experience. Suppose if you want to apply for another category, you have to submit a fresh application. So you cannot select multiple categories, multiple main categories. Subcategories, yes, there are maximum 2 subcategories that can be selected. That will be treated as one application, which is the main category. Or you are given the option to choose the subcategory only, one of the subcategory, or both subcategory mean you will be treated as one main category. If you want to select customer experience, connected product, maybe agile operation, so then you are going to go with the 3 separate applications. And when it comes to payment, yes, you can make a payment, combined payment. That's not an issue. But the application has to be separated because you are going to be assessed separately. There will be different panel of judges who will be doing the judging for each categories. So therefore, we need a separate application.
Right. Okay, there's another question that has come in. Who do we get through to change our applications? Who do we get through to change our applications?
Yeah, you can reach out to Shahan, Audrey. Maybe you can share the number or the email address.
So we will share the email address and the telephone number on the Zoom chat right now. Crystal, if you can share that right now, Audrey's email address as well as her mobile number, and you can contact Audrey and she will help you to change your application. She will also help you to answer any other queries that you have. Okay, so any other questions that have come in? If not, we can.
Something to say, Shahan?
Yes, Dr. Sir.
Yeah. This award ceremony is the first time which we are going to do, and I'm sure the next time onwards we'll be able to take the winners to the international level. This time, because of the timing issue, we can't take it, but surely the next year onwards we'll be able to take the winners to the international. Maybe Associo, maybe a few other options we have it. We'll be able to announce it next year. With the second year onwards, we'll be able to take you all to the international competition as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad. So we have shared Audrey's email address as well as mobile number on the Zoom chat. So please do contact her through any of the following methods. Okay, so we move on to the next item on the agenda. We need to recognize a few of our sponsors who have made this event possible. So we have shared our sponsors. So first of all, we would like to thank our platinum sponsors, WSO2 and Oracle, who have really supported and helped us driving this national agenda. We have our silver partners, Dialogue Television, LifeRay and Silverleap. Then we have our programmatic partners, AdStudio Ad Studio Cloud, online solutions partner /Tech Labs, digital marketing partner Z Messenger. I want to thank all our service partners as well, without whom this event would not be a reality. We have the national partners, as we spoke multiple times during this session. This is a national agenda that we are driving, and we have the support of the ICTA and the Export Development Board as well. We have the support of all our industry partners, the BCS, CSSL, and as well as ISACA. So thank you so much to all our sponsors for being a part of the FITIS Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave. Right, so before we conclude our program today, I would like to propose the vote of thanks. I would first of all like to thank the Honorable Secretary to the Ministry of Technology, Mr. Jayantha De Silva, for being with us and sharing your valuable insights, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. De Silva. We really appreciate you being here with us despite your busy schedule. Unfortunately, we were to have the chairman of the ICTA, Mr. Oshada Seranayake, as well, but we understand that he's at the presidential secretariat, so he's unable to connect right now. So thank you as well to Oshada, Mr. Oshada Seranayake, the ICTA as well, for all the support that the ICTA is giving for us to run this program. President of the FITIS Software Chapter and Project Chairman, Mr. Fairuz Habib, Co-Chairman, Mr. Dushi Tilaivasan, and all the members of the Executive Committee and the members of the FITIS Software Chapter. We'd also like to thank all the FITIS Executive Council members for being here this afternoon. I would like to thank our sponsors that I mentioned earlier, Platinum Partners, WSO2 and Oracle, Silver Partners, LifeRay, Silverleap, and Dialogue Television, National Partners, ICTA and the EDB, Ecosystem Partners, BCS, CSSL, and ISACA as well. I would like to thank all the representatives of the media for being here today. We thank you, and we look forward to your support in carrying our message to the general public. Thank you, a big thank you to the industry leaders, the applicants, the prospective applicants for being a part of today's program. We sincerely hope that this program helped you, enabled you to understand more about the Digital Excellence Awards and how you can be a part of this fantastic initiative. Last of all, I would like to thank Crystal and the FITIS Secretariat team for being a pillar of strength to run all these. We have been receiving so many calls and applications. So Audrey, Crystal, and the FITIS Secretariat team have been instrumental in the success of this event so far. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Please do send in your queries. If you have any questions, we are happy to take forward your queries and help you by providing our answers. Thank you so much again. Take care. Stay safe. God bless you all.